passionate, but most importantly, she is intentional. Emma has single-handedly written an intro for every single senior this year, and that is something to be praised. Emma is a light in all that she does. Not only is she the student chaplain, she's also a Gold Award Girl Scout and a prominent presence on her sports teams, alongside many of her other accomplishments. Thankfully, I've had the opportunity to play soccer and learn alongside Emma over the years. This year, I'm especially appreciative that we have gotten to grow closer and know that she will totally rock Miami and all that the STEM field has for her. And now we have Emma Craig's senior speech.
Thank you, Janie. I've heard every senior speech this year, twice. As you all know from my introductions that I write for every chapel, every one of you has been a part of my time here at St. Stephen's, and I've enjoyed it so much. Ironically enough, I've struggled writing my own speech. I remember back to my first interim student-led conference this year with my advisor, Mrs. Palmer. She asked me, "What legacy do you want to leave behind at St. Stephen's?" I didn't know the answer. So, over time, I've tried to figure out what represents the time I spent here. This is the best that I can come up with. I came here in 6th grade because Mrs. Ivan took me out to the softball field. It was what I would describe as the admissions tour of a lifetime. Mrs. Ivan asked me what activities I did, what I was interested in, what I planned on doing with my time at St. Stephen's. I only had a one-word answer: softball. Mrs. Ivan looked at me and she said, "Let me show you something." And there it was, the orange clay, the clean-cut grass. Right then and there was when I knew I wanted to go to school here. I was signed up for a shadow day with Allie Sturrides, and the next thing I knew, I was a Falcon. Good job, Allie. I was only 12 years old when I started here, but I knew I'd make my mark on the softball diamond. There's a memory from that first season I will never forget. My coach, his name is Paul Barton, he took a chance on me. It was the district championship. His daughter, who was a senior at the time, was the catcher for the team. His daughter, and before the game had started, he put me in, a 6th grader, as a catcher instead of his senior. Can you imagine that? We ended up winning that district championship. This moment has forever impacted my sports career here. It proved to me that age didn't matter. If I had the passion and the courage to play my game, then I could do it and I would do it. Is that district championship my legacy? I don't know. 7th grade, I decided to try and be good at more things besides softball. Yes, I was already doing well in my classes, but I wanted more. The word had spread around that I was the catcher for the softball team, and there were tons of people all telling me the same thing. "Emma, you've got to be our goalie." I don't know. "Emma, you can catch a softball. It can't be that much different." Yeah, it is. "Would you just give it a try? We need you." Little 7th grade me said, "You know what? I'll do it. What's the worst thing that could happen?" That season, I worked hard so I could be the best goalie I could be for my teammates. Long story short, I really enjoyed being a part of a team that was competitive and was a family. I will never forget the silly things, like when Coach Guy and Trey wanted to get me more involved in the game. The score was 7-0. I was very bored. I want to say I even did jumping jacks while my teammates were scoring all of those goals. Kendall Miller passed the ball back to me in goal, and I completely missed it. Missed it so bad that the ball rolled right into the goal. We ended up having to win that game 9-1 instead of 8-0. Well, 7th grade me, the worst thing that could happen is I would go on to play varsity soccer for 5 seasons and even win a district championship against ODA with my favorite girls. Oh, and district runner-up for girls basketball. I know I wouldn't be half of the player I was in my final season without my teammates and Coach Trey. Thank you all for pushing me on the field and taking a chance on me. You are the greatest team I could ever ask for. So, is being the soccer goalie my legacy? I don't know. But after soccer season every year would always be softball season. This changed for me after my sophomore year, during a game against Admiral Farragut, when I dove out for a ball while catching and tore my TFCC ligament in my wrist. When this injury happened, the doctors told me that the only way of avoiding surgery would to cast it and to rest. With that, the dreams I had of college softball were over. All of my work I put in since I was 4 years old was all for nothing. There was no way to avoid it. Without a catching hand, I could not be a catcher. I couldn't even hit. What would my legacy be if I couldn't even be on the softball field? I don't know. I thought that big green cast was the worst thing that had ever happened to me, but turns out it was one of the best things. I know that. Not being able to do softball, I decided to start a new spring sport. The track and field coaches had been trying to get me to throw shot put for them for a long time, but I couldn't do both softball and track at the same time. With my injury, I couldn't catch, but I could throw. It was the perfect compromise. I took that chance. Now, I've done 2 seasons of track and field and have found a passion for beating my personal records. It has been so fun competing with myself and my teammates, Brock, Caleb, Kaylin, and Priscilla, throughout the season. I've even excelled in the competition, having made it to regionals tomorrow for shot put. My name will also be on the plaque for my javelin school record, leaving my legacy behind for as long as it takes for someone to beat my record. I don't think it'll be long. Thank you to my teammates and Coach Brown. You've all made throwing more fun than I could ever imagine. I also got to be more involved with my Girl Scout troop. My Gold Award project, Balloons Don't Go to Heaven, is one of my proudest accomplishments. With this project, I was able to share my video with people from all around the world. It will forever make an impact, and I think you will all think of me if you ever think about doing a balloon release. Save RC life. Last year, I even took it upon myself to apply to be this year's student chaplain. I can still remember how excited I was when I found out the news. I had so many ideas: the senior speeches, the school prayer, the chapel themes, the list goes on. When school started during August, I was tasked to come up with a way to keep everyone socially distant and happy during chapel. I remember talking with Dr. Pullen about different ideas I had involving the field and Zooming from the comments. But now, today, I'm standing in Christ Church in front of my senior class with the rest of the upper school on Zoom. Something we never thought would have been possible at the beginning of the year. I know that I couldn't have done everything that I've done this year without the help of Reverend Rich, Mr. Forrester, and Jake Connor. You all have made my vision of chapels possible. I will always be proud of what we were able to accomplish this year in the midst of a pandemic. Thank you for that. I think I'm getting closer to knowing my legacy too. A theme of my story is that I've always had people that were here for me through it all. Mrs. Palmer, you're someone who seems to know everything about everything. You're so knowledgeable and have always been there for me when I needed someone to talk to, even about the hard things. Thank you for being the best advisor ever. The rising freshmen are lucky to have you next year. Nanny and Pop, you're the best grandparents ever. Even though you live in New Jersey, you are always just a text or call away, and I'm so glad that you can make it onto the Zoom today. I'm so excited to spend Christmases with you for many years to come. I love you. Julia, you're the best sister I could ever ask for. Nobody else could tolerate going to Disney the number of times that I want to, or the number of cat memes that I send you on a daily basis. There's no one I'd rather be in the Taylor Swift Journey to Fearless movie with. This is true, by the way. We are 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 25 seconds into the show. You can look that up. Thank you for always keeping me fearless. I love you. Dad, you are always willing to help me with my crazy 3D printing projects. You are such a hard worker, and you made it possible for Julia and I to come to St. Stephen's 7 years ago. I know you enjoyed sitting in an uncomfortable lawn chair for close to 14 hours a weekend watching me play softball. But thank you for supporting me when I wanted to try new things. But especially a big thank you for hanging up my neon Sebastian the Ibis sign. I love you. Mom, you've always put Julia and I first, and I admire you for that. I want to say, I don't think you've ever missed an award ceremony, a sports game, or any moment in my life that has been important to me. I know you are always here for me with love and want what's best for me. I'm really going on all of our adventures this year. Thank you for being the best mom ever. I love you. And thank you to all the teachers and friends who have helped me along the way. Before I sat down to write this speech, I could only think of what everyone else has said and written. Everyone had such powerful words. I knew I had to say something great. I felt this expectation for me to have this breathtaking speech. All I knew was that I wanted to leave my legacy here. Legacy. What is a legacy? Yes, that is from Hamilton. I think of a legacy being what people will remember me for. What I didn't realize was this speech won't leave my legacy. My name on a plaque in the field house won't leave my legacy either. I've already left it. The things I've done in my 7 years here, that's my legacy. Once you freshmen graduate, no student in the upper school will have had me as their student chaplain. The stories, the memories, the laughs, that's what will be left behind. My legacy isn't in my hands anymore. It's in all of yours, and I'm willing to take that chance. Next year, I will be attending the University of Miami to study biomedical engineering with Torin and Lena. I'm ready to leave my legacy there too. So, Mrs. Palmer, I know it's a little late, but I hope this answered your question back from first interim when I didn't know. I didn't know the true purpose of the senior speech either. Most people think of it as this box to check in order to graduate, but that's not it at all. Your senior speech is your moment. The moment where we bring people together with our words. These speeches will leave an imprint on each of us as we go on to college. But most importantly, it's what you make of it. Today, I told you all my story. And tomorrow, when you're standing up here, you will know what to say. But only if you take the chance. Thank you, and go Canadians. And now we will have a special Fledgling Falcon video to share. This is going to be a